We all know price is what you pay and value is what you receive. But silver prices, premiums, and market conditions are now at a place where the value of silver is undeniable. In this video, I'm going to cover how to use a stacker's mentality to help you find better value. I'm also going to provide you with 6 tips to help you improve this skill set. Effectively stacking silver is about much more than having money to buy metals. Everything about effective stacking is about a mentality, a stacker's mentality. Your mentality, your thoughts, your behaviors, your values are all woven together to create your investing habit. As Rick Rule says, most investors pay slavish attention to price because it's easy information to get and it feels spendable. But if you don't have an opinion as to value, what is price information worth? And that's a question. The first time we discussed the stacker's mentality, I gave you 10 key principles related to stacking. I'll link that video at the end. This video is going to dig deeper into one aspect of the stacker's mentality, which is value, not price. For example, price is what makes people think that they can't invest in gold. When was the last time you heard someone say, man, that gold value is way too high. I need the value to go down before I buy? Let me ask you another question, as kind of a thought exercise of sorts. Would you rather buy 50 shares of a $1 stock or 1 share of a $50 stock? Well, clearly that's kind of a trick question because you need more information in order to answer that question. For example, if the dollar stock was in Stackers University and the $50 stock was in Amazon, that would heavily influence your decision. So why does this matter? Because of the value proposition. We all know that Amazon at $50 a share is a steal. In terms of Stackers University, we just don't know where it's going to go, right? Right there is my point. When we hold price, or in this case, the amount of money, which was $50 constant, we immediately focus on value. But that's not how we normally do it in our everyday life. I want to share another Rick Rule quote. Most people have no opinion as to value. The fact that most people have no opinion as to value or have no means to develop an opinion as to value means that the information they pay attention to, the price information, is a floating abstraction. It has no import whatsoever. When people develop an opinion as to value, then price becomes relevant. Just like in the earlier example, even in today's market, you'd gladly give me $50 for what once was a $175 stock because you know it has value. Do you remember what the energy around silver was like when the price was sitting around $30? The apes on Wall Street were active, YouTube creators were in full hype mode, and everyone was talking about blasting off to the moon and getting rich. But now, silver's been below 30 for more than a year and below 25 for most of 2022. And you can feel the capitulation in the air. And that's why I'm getting excited. Intellectually, we know that if silver was worth buying at 30, it's absolutely worth buying at 21. But for many folks, I know it's not anyone watching this video because you are my true hardcore stackers. But for all those other folks over there, they've just frozen and done what most average investors do. They stop buying and try to wait until the coast is clear to buy again. But by that time, silver will be back at 25, 28, and they will have missed the best buying opportunity they will ever have. As I've learned as an investor, 2 people can do the exact same thing, but for very different reasons, and they will get very different results. Let me explain, and dare I even say, I'm going to confess out loud here. I've only made 2 significant silver purchases all year. And my last significant purchase was on March 4th when I picked up 2 kilo bars from Bullion Exchange for $1.50 over spot, which was a 5.85% premium. If you've been around the channel, then you know how I feel about premiums, and that's a major factor in determining my purchases. You also know that I've said in multiple videos that I fully expect silver to pull back to 22 or below. Lo and behold, that's where we are. So I've been sitting back waiting, stacking cash, and actually picking up gold here and there. The real reason I made that purchase, which was $3 higher than my target price for silver, was because of the value. When I've purchased kilos in the past, it were always right around $2 over spot. It was a higher price, and with that higher price, that $2 premium was about 7 or 8%, which was a great deal back then. This entire year, while silver has been slipping lower, premiums have remained around the same dollar amount, which meant it actually represented a higher percentage of premium. This didn't feel like value to me. So it allowed me to sit and wait on the sidelines for either silver to drop to such a level that I had to buy regardless of premiums, or I found enough good enough deals that satisfied my buying guidelines. Simply put, silver in the short term didn't feel like a value to me or didn't feel like it had a value proposition. So I turned my focus to buying more gold and stacking more cash. As Rick Rule said, when people develop an opinion as to value, then price becomes relevant. So here I go again, taking you on a journey where I make 3 right turns instead of simply making a left. Why though? Because if knowledge was all you needed, you already be where you wanted to be and have what you wanted to have. Once you have the knowledge, then it's about what to do and how to use that knowledge, which is why I'm showing you how I make my sausage. Now, you're gonna do it your own way. I'm sure there's a 14-year-old boy joke somewhere in there. So why am I telling you this after the fact? Because that value window seems to be opening right now. For the first time in what feels like years, premiums have started to come down. We see Britannia's, Eagles, and junk silver all have come down about $1 per ounce in premium. For once, we have what may be the perfect storm for silver investors. 1, people are feeling beaten down by silver price and starting to give up on it. Dare I say even capitulating. 2, prices are about as low as they can get. It took the medical event of 2020 to drive prices down to $16 briefly. So we're not that far. And dealers are rolling back their premiums, largely because people aren't buying, which is another sign of this kind of maybe people giving up or feeling a little frustrated. And we know it's human nature. People are supposed to buy low and sell high. And what do they end up doing? Buying high and selling low because of the emotions around it and because they don't have buying guidelines and they don't understand value. That means for me, it's time to start buying again. Now, I can't tell you what to do, but $21 silver and lower premiums, if that doesn't make you check your mail every hour to see what the next dealer is trying to hit you with for a sale, I don't know what. Especially in this environment where they seem like they keep trying to undercut each other. That's how much pressure they're feeling to move product. The deals I've seen over the last 2 weeks just keep getting better and better. Now, I will remind you, we are at the end of the month here, folks. Now, let me remind you, folks, we are also at the end of the month and we're also at the end of the second quarter. So this is going to be a little volatile for the next few days. And so I'm actually not looking to make my first purchase until July 1st or somewhere around there because we have the Fed meeting, we've had some more GDP information, we have options expiring. There's a lot of stuff. The market, who knows which direction it's going to go. So I'm just going to sit out for a little while. I've waited this long. A couple more days, we'll be all right. Low prices, low premiums, high inflationary environment, and all the other things that we know that should be driving the price of silver up just means that the value proposition of silver can't get much higher. We know silver will at least end up somewhere around $50 within the next year or so. Sure, the price can go down some more from here. As the saying goes though, if you can't handle my lows, you don't deserve my highs. And I think we're pretty darn low here, and I think the value is through the roof. So yeah, I'm jumping back into the silver market. As I bring this to a close, I want to leave you with 6 quick tips that will help you enhance your stacker's mentality around value and enhance your ability to remain focused on value and not price, as value is a better measure for us as investors. Price matters to those that want to trade. First, invest in your education. It's the only investment with a guaranteed positive return on your time and your money. As Rick Rule says, you have to have belief in what you're buying and proper conviction. Proper conviction comes from knowledge. Keep learning, join Stackers, because everything we do is about helping you learn and become a better investor. So if you haven't subscribed, man, go ahead and do that. Number 2, learn the difference between value and price. We've already kind of defined it, but really understand, what does that really mean? Just because it's cheap doesn't make it a good value. There's an old saying about going broke trying to save money because something's on sale and it's really deeply discounted, but that doesn't mean it has great value. Number 3, learn to understand the conditions and ignore the predictions. I did a video on this, but as you become more knowledgeable, you will be better at taking in data and information and knowing what to make of that information so that you're never at the mercy of these hype men or prognosticators, you will have the ability to make your own decisions because no matter what, you have to own your own results. 4, intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is interesting because it's a combination of kind of this using financial analysis, such as studying, financial performances, revenues, earnings, cash flows, things like that, as well as this kind of fundamental understanding, which is understanding a company, a brand, the business model, and their competitive advantage. In order to really understand value, you kind of have to know both sides of this. You got to have to know the financial piece of it, and then you also have to know these fundamentals. And it's not one or the other. 5, eliminate the guesswork. If following the market is too time consuming, or you just prefer not to do it and you'd like to just check in here and there, then buy on a schedule. And if you aren't consistent or you won't do that, there are plenty of places out there, but you can use something like Money Metal's automatic purchase program. And no, this isn't a plug from them. They don't pay me or anything like that, but it is a great program. I have used the program in the past and I find it very helpful, but it's great if you want to make sure that at a bare minimum, you do some purchase every month or so. That's a great way of doing it. The short-term gyrations mean nothing when you know the ultimate direction that this is going. So keep your focus on the long term. Warren Buffett said it just so wonderfully. If you aren't thinking about owning a stock for 10 years, then don't think about owning it for 10 minutes. And number 6, reframe these market declines. See them as buying opportunities when there is value. You got to come back and figure out what value looks like. In the comments, share how do you define value? Where do you think silver prices are going to go over the next 2 months? Or you can simply share which of the 6 tips you found most helpful. Thank you for seeing this video all the way through. You are my A+ students. If you want to learn more about a stacker's mentality, check out the original video, which should be popping up right about now, or watch Cash is King to learn more about the importance of stacking extra cash with our metals, particularly in this environment. Always stack smarter, never stop learning.